Well, hello, Emmanuel Church. Wherever this video finds you, we hope you're doing well. We are here to share with you two exciting announcements today.
Yeah, that's right. And the first one is that Hardin Valley Academy is actually reopening to community use. So that means that June 7th, we will be able to be back in there for our Sunday morning worship gathering. So we're super excited about this. We just found out last week. So we're making plans to be back in there June 7th, and we're going to tell you more about what that will look like for Emmanuel, but we also have another announcement to share with you.
So we're super excited and thankful that Hardin Valley is opening up, but the other part of that story is that for the last few weeks, not knowing what would happen at Hardin Valley Academy, we've been looking for just a temporary spot that we could use maybe in the weeks that we're waiting for Knox County to reopen schools. But as we were looking for spots, something amazing happened, something far beyond what we were even dreaming or praying for. And that is someone called us who would like to remain anonymous. We're super thankful for this person and their generosity. Someone called us and said, "Hey, would you guys want to use a church building?" And we were like, yeah, that would be great. And they said, you can use this for the foreseeable future, free of charge, 24/7. So that's our second announcement, is that the Lord has been working through the generosity of His people to provide us with really like a family life center in our community, a church building for our use free of charge. So we are super excited about that opportunity, thankful, grateful for it. And it's really just a God story. You know, we said that we had some feelers out there trying to find stuff. This wasn't one of them. This person came calling to us. The Lord just kicked this story in gear. So it's really pretty incredible. Where is it? It's just down the road next to Pellissippi, off Dogwood Road, near that Solway area. And we'll show you that online. We can show you where that is. So it's just right down the road here in our community. And we'll have access to that 24/7. There's all kinds of things we can do with it.
Yeah, we're excited for the 24/7 access it would give us. So you can imagine that we could explore midweek options. So kids programs, places for students and college students, men and women's discipleship or events. So the possibilities are really endless. We're so excited to really have 24/7 access to a spot. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, and in this season where things are just kind of up in the air, it's a wonderful place that we can go to if Knox County does need to suspend use for a while or whatever. This gives us some semi-permanency here with this facility. So it is just perfect timing for us, and it's going to be a great space for us just to grow as a church, just a greenhouse for us to continue to develop and have community and disciple our kids and students and adults. So we are just blown away with God's provision and the generosity of His people, and we're looking forward to what this will provide for us. So we're excited that we are getting back to Hardin Valley Academy, and that will be a good spot for us. We know that rhythm Sunday mornings. There's a lot of space there, and now also really a church campus that we can use throughout the week and use if Hardin Valley is no longer available. So it's just a wonderful setup. Only the Lord could do it. All glory to Him. So those are our two exciting announcements. All right, we're going to change gears a little bit here and now talk about what does it look like to meet in person. So this is a unique season where we have to think through what that looks like. So we just want to take a little bit of time, kind of as an appendix to our announcement, to share with you what that will look like, just so you're prepared. Before we get into kind of the how of that, I did want to mention just the why. Why would we meet? That may be a question for some folks. That may be a question for unbelievers who wonder, why would churches do this? And we would say two things. One is that human nature, we as people, are created for community. That was the word from the beginning, that man was not meant to be alone. So we need each other, and so we really value the opportunity to get together. We're thankful for things like Zoom and FaceTime, but there's something to be said, and we're all feeling it, about actually meeting in person. The other part of why is it's part of the essential nature of the church. The church is who we are, yes, when we go out into the community and when we're at home. It's not just a building, but the church is also an assembly. We are kind of churching, if you will, when we assemble. That's the original meaning of the word in Greek for church, is the assembly. So to church, if you will, we have to assemble. And so we're kind of feeling that now. Maybe we've never really thought through that, but at a distance we're realizing, church is not just a podcast or songs to listen to on Spotify, but it's actually a people that get together. And so we miss that as we do things online. So for the sake of our humanity and our need for community and then the nature of the church, we do want to get together. Now that being said, we want to be very cautious, we want to be very wise, we want to seek counsel and be considerate as we meet. So we'll tell you a little bit about how that's going to look. Let me say a little bit about the attitude of how we're going to meet. The attitude of how we're going to meet is from Philippians 2, and I just want to read this to you. We want to have the attitude of Christ. We know that there's all kinds of different opinions and voices about how severe or overblown this pandemic is, or what caution looks like or shouldn't look like. So we just want to say at the outset, hey, let's come with the attitude of Christ. No matter where you find yourself on that spectrum, we don't want it to be about that. We want it to be about just a charitable spirit, loving one another. So let me read Philippians 2 for us here. Paul says to a group of believers who's had maybe a little bit of conflict, he says this, he says, let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interests of others. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, that is, to just hold on to, but emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men, and being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. And Paul says that kind of humility that says, I'm going to lay aside my glory and my rights to serve and love. That's actually an example for us. And Paul says, so don't have any selfish ambition. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. So we want to, as we come back together as a church, have that spirit of just putting others first. So we're going to be cautious. We want to go the extra mile. We want to honor the authorities. We're under Knox County by being in Hardin Valley Academy. So part of that is following the guidelines they've asked us to follow. But we can do all of that with the Spirit of Christ and to the glory of the Lord. And Paul goes on to say, so shine as lights in this generation, right? And that's what we can do. We have an opportunity to do that as we gather well. So that's attitude. Okay, actions. What does that actually look like? Jared will walk us through that. And of course, there's some details here. We'll post more online if you really want to just kind of read through it. But fairly standard stuff, I guess. Anyways,
I think so.
Walk us through that.
So as we mentioned, Knox County is going to allow us to be back into Hardin Valley Academy on June 7th. But with that, they've asked all churches who are using their facilities to abide by the CDC guidelines and recommendations. And as being people under authority, we want to honor that authority, submit to that authority, and also love our neighbors and show that we are meeting with some concern for them. We have them in mind as we gather back together. So as Derek said, we'll post all the guidelines that we have, but we want to highlight just a few so you'll kind of know what to expect when we gather back together on June 7th. The CDC obviously recommends mask, especially when social distancing is not possible. Now, thankfully, at Hardin Valley Academy, as you know, it's a large space, and so spacing and distancing will be quite easy there. So we're going to say that you're welcome to wear a mask. You don't have to, but you're welcome to wear a mask. And if you want one but don't have one, we will provide one for you that morning. So also, of course, social distancing is a big issue recommended by both the governor's office and the CDC guidelines. And so we're going to encourage social distancing before and after. And then as you come into the service, we're going to space out our seating. And again, that's the advantage of being in a 700-seat auditorium. We can spread out and use the whole facility, the whole room. And that will really be a great help to us. So we will do our best to spread out on that morning. One important note is that initially, at least the first couple weeks, there will be no childcare for children of any age. Of course, as always, we welcome children into the service. And you know that we welcome their energy and their presence and the noise that they bring. They are welcome. All of them are welcome into the service. And we'll look forward to seeing how we can facilitate childcare, hopefully in the near future. But we need a little more time to kind of figure that out. In the meantime, if you're comfortable, bring your kids. We'll have a speaker in the atrium that will be piping out the service. So if your little one gets a little restless, needs to walk around, take them out there. But there will be no childcare the first couple weeks. And then also, we understand that some of you just will not be able to gather with us in person maybe for a little while. You maybe have some medical issues and your doctor recommends that you don't gather with the church at this stage. We want you to know that we're going to continue to live stream. Lord willing, we're going to live stream every week, and you just continue to meet with us and sing with us and be under the Word with us. And so we'd invite you just to continue to join us on the live stream and keep up with us in that way. Again, we will post the guidelines, these and more, to let you know what the services are going to look like there on June 7th.
Yeah, excellent. And again, we know this will be, unique and it's not quite normal. We know that. But we think it could be a wonderful time to be back together, and we're really looking forward to that. And we just, in advance, thank you for your patience in this season. Lord willing, this is not forever, right? But just a season here, and I keep using that word. It's a season the Lord has us in here. So we'll embrace it, and we will do our best with it. We'll serve one another with it. We'll use it as an excuse to love on one another. And show care to one another. So that's our spirit. We hope you can come with excitement with that same spirit. So we will see you in person very soon. Cut.